Hi everyone, hope you guys are all doing well. I just wanted to do a video on a topic that I'll be watching pretty closely and also one that seems to be dominating the news right now, and that's the idea of the Federal Reserve beginning to taper its quantitative easing program. And I believe that this is pretty important just because it has quite a few ramifications for the overall economy and the stock markets. But more importantly for me, I think that it also will affect the precious metal markets, which I'll be watching closely this week. But specifically, what I wanted to do is just talk about this article here in the Independent and just its absurdity that they call this so-called tapering the beginning of tightening of monetary policy. And just to start, we should keep in mind that this is supposedly going to be a $10 billion reduction of the $85 billion QE program. And that $10 billion reduction is down from earlier estimates that the taper was going to be about $15 billion. So they've been dropping that number down quite substantially. And really just looking at it, $10 billion in this $85 billion program is a small drop in the bucket. But also, too, just looking at it closely, I'm not sure exactly how the $10 billion reduction will break down, but it might just amount to a change from $45 billion to $40 billion in the Fed's purchasing of Treasury notes, which, of course, on the face is a small drop in the bucket. But more importantly, we should remember that the whole quantitative easing program itself represents a loose monetary policy. And therefore, in my opinion, you can't really make any reference to tightening until the quantitative easing stops altogether with no commitment to further QE programs down the road. That basically this article is, undermining its very premise because they're saying that this is the first tightening of monetary policy going back all the way to 2006. But if they're going to call this tightening, a small reduction in the size of the quantitative easing, then why not refer to the end of quantitative easing 1 or quantitative easing 2 as tightening of monetary policy? So their premise doesn't really make sense, and really, calling this a tightening of monetary policy is just similar to the idea during the budget debates, how the media was calling the decreases in the rate of growth of the budget, and they were calling those decreases just budget cuts. And also, too, further, what everyone is forgetting about in this whole tapering debate is how interest rates affect monetary policy. And we have to remember that interest rates are set to remain at 0% until the middle of 2015. And this article does make mention of that. So again, we have on the horizon another 2 years at least. Again, they're going to go all the way till 2015. That's what they've committed to now. Another 2 years of 0% interest rates, which in my opinion affects monetary policy more than these QE programs. But also, too, you can't really refer to tightening of monetary policy until those rates start to move up, which would actually start then tightening monetary policy as the price of borrowing money becomes more expensive. Otherwise, what you have with 0% interest rates is cheap money and, again, to a loose monetary policy that results. So, again, to this whole topic of tapering, as it's quite important to the overall economy, again, too, I don't see this as, a big deal. And also, too, just in relation to my precious metals stacking goals, right now my whole goal is predicated upon monetary policy, and really this $10 billion reduction in quantitative easing does nothing to change those goals. Right now we're still going to get a devaluation of the dollar, meaning that hard assets, particularly gold and silver, are a good place for me to be right now. So as I'm going to be watching this quite extensively this week, I'm not really going to pay attention too much to a small $10 billion reduction in quantitative easing. So that's just my opinion of the topic. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Also, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, too, I have quite a few videos coming out this week, particularly some on how to make money in coin roll hunting, and also to just a little bit more of a recap on my silver stacking goals at the moment. But again, thank you so much for watching as always, everyone. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you next video. Bye for now.